If you don't know me, you hadn't seen me, my name's Craig. I'm the technical director for Tilebar. My goal is to have us the most knowledgeable technical customer support and sales staff in the industry. I was a commercial tile installer for 20 plus years. Now, I wasn't on my knees. I was in the office ordering, troubleshooting problems, estimating, all those things. I've set my fair share of tile, but I know how to talk about it a lot more than I know how to do it. But I love it. I think this industry is really cool, and we got some really great things to talk about, and Tilebar is just one step ahead of everybody else. And so I want us to all know some things. And when we touch it and feel it, we remember it. And then when we remember it, we can serve our clients a little bit better. That's my goal for today. So here's the nature antique. So when we talk about eyelines, we want to talk about, you see how in this picture here, you can see where each sheet ends and begins. Yeah. When you're buying a mosaic, the average customer wants it to look like a riverbed. They want, they're strolling through nature. That's what they want it to look like. And that, because it is linear and horizontal, it's not natural, because you don't see straight lines in nature. So the key is, how do we set this and make it look natural? You see with the pebbles down here, similar thing. They've set these pebbles, and there's clearly, you can see where what I call the eye lines or picture framing in those. Now, that doesn't mean the installer did a terrible job. It just means that it's a difficult material. And as customer service and sales, we got to set expectations. That's the thing that I talk to the sales team about all the time. We have unique materials, but we have to set the expectations of what we want that to look like when it's done. When we get this material, we sell this material, what's one quick thing that would have made this go away? Anybody have an idea?
A different color grout? Correct.
A darker grout or a grout that kind of blended into the tile, you would have a harder time seeing that. Here, not so much. That's rough. I love this material. This is one of the first materials that was sent to me that said, hey, help me out with this. And so I've done a lot of tests on it. And one of the things that I found out is if you take this material and do your dry layout, we talk about a dry layout. Before you start your tile project, you're taking your tile out of the boxes. And what do you do first? Anybody know? Place them out. Do you take a one box, or do you pull from different boxes? Yeah, you pull from different boxes. That way, if there is a shade variance, you won't ever see it. So when you're laying this out, you have the opportunity to look at one and say, man, this sheet is really crapped up. Let me just set it to the side and let me grab another one. I can use that one for cuts or something like that. But then, once you get it all set together, you may see some troubled areas. And I made a video on this, and one of the easy ways to take care of this troubled area, so when you have these gaps like this, it's easy enough to just cut those stones loose from the sheet, maybe pull them out completely all together, and then when you put them back in, you can split the difference and it hides all of that variation. If you see here looking across this installation, that's actually one that I did. You see some bigger and grout, but you can't really see the sheets. And that's all because I took my time and I took some stones out that were causing the bigger issues, and I cut them loose, and then I reinstalled them after I got it in. What's one thing an installer is going to say, raise their hand and be upset about?
Why you don't have to cover?
Why? Yeah. I should be able to just set it and forget it. Not the case with all materials. Different materials require different levels of meticulous installation. And these aren't cheap to buy, so they shouldn't be cheap to install. And you should expect with any mosaic, even our most simple mosaics, the inch by inch they're still gonna take some adjustment when it's, because it's not perfect. Most of these mosaics are hand done. So you're gonna expect some variances. And so when you sell a mosaic project, you wanna manage the expectations. The installer should expect to do a little extra work. And if the installer knows what they're installing, they should charge accordingly. They shouldn't do it for free. So that's one of the things about managing the expectations. The next one, in my opinion, is easier to fix and more fun to fix. So when you set these together, odds are they don't weave in perfectly. Just like the picture here, you see there's gaps. There's a guy online from Boston, and he's the first person I saw do this technique. And what he intentionally did is he took this sheet, he intentionally set it off so that he could take the loose stones and place them between the sheets. What that does is it is completely random, so it hides any of those vertical and horizontal lines. And it's a lot easier than taking all of them off and then trying to install them one stone at a time. Any questions about that? Okay, so who was here last year and grouted? Nath? All right, so that's good. We got one on each team. We're gonna grout today. So as we all know, if you're on Instagram, the poll is out there. People are voting. So you make sure you vote for your tile if you can. Get your friends, family, whatever. That's not the final vote, but you know, it's still just fun competition. And let me just say, the grout can make a good installation look terrible, and it also can make a bad installation raise up a little bit. So grout goes a long way, and grouting is all you today. I'm not going to mix it up for you. I'm going to let you pick the color. I'm going to let you mix it yourself. I'll give you as many tips as you want. I'll walk around and help as often as you want. I will say last night before I left, I did put a coat of sealer on both installations, so hopefully that'll help with some of the grout absorbing in. It's not my favorite sealer, but it is for this. It's my favorite sealer, but as far as grout release goes, it's just okay. Remember, when our grout, we take our grout float, we push in the grout as deep as we can, then we turn it on edge, use it like a squeegee to get it off. Then you can step away, clean up your area, let it dry. You don't have to, and I see this all the time, that you don't have to continue to play with it. Set it, make sure there's no holes, clean it, and then let it sit for a second, and then you can do your initial clean with your sponges and your water. Make sense? All right, let's go.